Very good. Thank you. Thank you first for inviting us in the Council of Europe. I realize that I'm representing the only non-EU institutions present here on this table, so thank you very much for having involved us in this exchange, and thank you for also your initiative to organize this conference and for your efforts and energy devoted to this important matter. So, as I have the floor, I will be relatively brief in telling you in a few words what the Council of Europe is currently doing on this matter and what we intend to do in the near future. For the moment, we are somehow finalizing or ending a 3-year strategy promoting the rights of the child, which was adopted in 2008 and is closing this year in 2011. Over that strategy, we try to promote as much as possible the rights of this category of children that under this item we consider as a very vulnerable group. And we have developed a few instruments and a few tools to protect children, and including through information that will be accessible to children, information that will be given to the children so that they are informed themselves of their rights and how to defend their own rights. We've been publishing various booklets translated in 13 languages, distributed throughout the continent, and we have been working for that purpose with many partners in the different 47 member states of the Council of Europe. But that strategy is now close to an end, and we are now reflecting on a new strategy, again, that would run as of 2012 up to 2015. That strategy will be formally endorsed at the end of this year in an international conference that is being organized in Monaco in November this year. Obviously, the future strategy will build on the experience of the current strategy. It will aim mostly at ensuring that children's rights are indeed translated into national plans, national legislation, and properly implemented in the different member states. The strategy is currently being discussed, elaborated. We have many contacts with many partners, including associations and various organizations. One of the difficulties we see is indeed to collect proper data. I know that there is already much data, much statistics available, at least in EU member states. We in the Council of Europe have to face the situation in the 47 European states on this continent. So what is the objective situation in Albania, in Moldova, in Ukraine, in Russia? There obviously we need to start our work with objective and reliable data. And it's not an easy task, as it was mentioned already before. But we need to go through there. Our Parliamentary Assembly took this matter very seriously and adopted a resolution also last year, which deals with children without parental care and underlined the need of urgent action. And I quote just a sentence from that resolution. The Parliamentary Assembly calls on member states to give appropriate attention to recently increasing phenomena such as child trafficking, children left behind by migrating parents, and street children. And these member states are called on undertaking specific national studies regarding the issues identified as priorities by each member state. So it means now member states have a duty, and the Council of Europe as a collective body, intergovernmental body, has to reply to the Parliamentary Assembly saying that's what we intend to do in order to address this specific phenomenon. And this reply by the Committee of Ministers, by the ambassadors, will certainly be part of the future strategy of the Council of Europe. The future strategy will certainly build on what already exists in terms of specific rights of children in this situation. these rights derive from already existing and well-established conventions in the Council of Europe. The most important of them is certainly the European Convention on Human Rights, which is somehow protected by the Court of Human Rights, and there the Article 8, which goes on the protection of private and family life, has very high relevance. And the second most important legal instrument we have to protect minors and children is the economic and social, European Social Charter, which is a binding instrument applying to all the parties to that instrument, which is a high level of member states in the Council of Europe. And in particular, it's Article 17, which protects the right of children and young persons to social, legal, and economic protection. So a specific article deals with children and young persons temporarily or definitively deprived of their family support. And the committee which follows the implementation of that instrument, that social charter, has developed much jurisprudence or interpretation of that article. So these different considerations will enter into the future strategy of the Council of Europe defending the rights of the child. Certainly, we see much room for cooperation between the European Union and the Council of Europe on this matter, as it is obviously a wider problem than a problem addressing only the EU 27 member states. It's certainly a problem addressing the whole continent. So certainly both organizations, the EU and the Council of Europe, have to work both with their capacities, their political strength, and their legal instruments to address the situation. We certainly have much to share. We have studies, we have research, the EU has done the same. So we have to put this data together, and we have together, I guess, to continue this process. So certainly the European Parliament will be an important partner in the future strategy. Mrs. Angelilli has been certainly a close partner to our efforts in the Council of Europe. The Commission as well. They will both be invited to the launching ceremony of the future strategy in Monaco in November. But we certainly count also on the cooperation we need with partners in the countries, such as your associations and foundations, which are very, very relevant in the different member states. Thank you again for having invited me to this exchange.